Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Diverse Thinking, Different Learning podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Karen Wilson. If you've been listening, you know that over the last 2 episodes, we've focused on preparing students who think and learn differently for transitioning back to school. Last week, we discussed the importance of sleep and sleep hygiene. And today we're delving into an interesting and often overlooked aspect of mental health, nutrition. I'm going to explore how what we eat can significantly impact our mental well-being and how we can support children and teens in maintaining good mental health through their diet. So grab your favorite beverage, find a comfortable spot, and let's get started.
Millions of kids struggle with learning, processing, and social emotional difficulties. These challenges interfere with their ability to reach their full potential. Dr. Karen Wilson is here to help. Her extensive background in pediatric neuropsychology and higher education have prepared her for this unique mission. Listen as she delivers content to inform, educate, and empower parents and educators. This will enable you to identify challenges that kids face and get them on the road to achieving their full potential. This is Diverse Thinking, Different Learning by Child Nexus.
We're all familiar with the adage, you are what you eat. And while we often attribute the saying to our physical well-being, emerging research is revealing that our dietary choices play an equally important role in our mental health. Now, this connection between what we eat and our mental well-being is an emerging field called nutritional psychology or nutritional psychiatry. It's a scientific discipline that's gaining recognition for its role in promoting mental health alongside other lifestyle choices like exercise, social support, and mindfulness practices. And we've been talking about those factors on the podcast, and the science is pretty clear that the foods we consume can impact not just our mood, but also conditions like depression, anxiety, and ADHD. Now, the journey of studying the impact of diet on mental health dates back to the late 1990s, when research highlighted a relationship between higher fish consumption in a country and lower rates of depression. Now, over the years, studies on dietary patterns, micronutrients, and supplements have added layers of understanding to this connection. So now we know that foods rich in vitamins, minerals, and fiber can contribute to positive mental health outcomes. And we all know that mental well-being is the goal. And even when we talk about improving learning outcomes, we know that mental health influences learning and engagement in the classroom. Now, staying clear of or minimizing processed options also contributes to better mental health. Unfortunately, the research shows that Americans now derive most of their calories in a less than optimal way. According to the U.S. National Health and Nutrition Examination Study, U.S. adults obtain 57% of their calories from ultra-processed foods like packaged pizza and sugary beverages. And for children and teens, that share rises to 67%. So this is why we're talking about this today, because again, I'm highlighting the importance of understanding the relationship between nutrition and mental health, particularly as we transition to a new academic year when our hopes are for optimal mental health and well-being and engagement and optimal learning for this academic year. But how exactly does nutrition impact our brains? To answer that question, we need to peek into the intricate dance of neurotransmitters and cofactors. And neurotransmitters are the messengers of our brain, and they influence our emotions and our feelings and the ways that we think and interpret experiences in our lives. And if you think about, for instance, serotonin, which is that feel-good neurotransmitter, it's influenced by specific vitamins and minerals, and having a steady supply of these nutrients facilitates the synthesis of these important brain chemicals, and that contributes to stable mood and mental well-being. So micronutrients, which include vitamins and minerals, play a really important role in mental health, which means eating a balanced and nutritious diet can help our brain cells work more efficiently, can help our kids' brain cells work more efficiently. It can enhance well-being. It can also reduce inflammation, support cellular energy production, and benefit the gut microbiome, all of which contributes to better mental health. I want to mention and talk about depression and ADHD specifically, because many of the parents in our community have children who experience depression or have ADHD. And I think it's important to highlight the research that's showing that improving nutrition can have positive effects on both non-clinical and clinical depression. That means children, adolescents, adults who are experiencing depressive symptoms like sadness, a lack of engagement, low mood, but have not been formally diagnosed with major depressive disorder, can benefit from improving their nutrition in the same way that individuals who have been diagnosed with clinical depression can benefit. For example, studies have demonstrated that a Mediterranean-style diet that is rich in whole foods and nutrients can improve mental well-being by reducing symptoms of depression. And similarly, nutritional interventions are showing promise in managing symptoms of ADHD, with some studies showing improvements in symptoms with micronutrient supplements. One study actually compared individuals who took a placebo, which is like a sugar pill, and participants who took a micronutrient formula. And those who took that micronutrient formula over 8 weeks had fewer ADHD symptoms, which included fewer symptoms of inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity at the end of those 8 weeks. And what's really interesting is that among those participants who had moderate to severe depression at the beginning of the study, those who took supplements were more likely to report improved mood at the end of the study than those taking the placebo. In another study, parents and teachers reported a rise in other positive outcomes that are not specifically related to ADHD symptoms. Things like anger and a greater ability to regulate emotions and cope with stressors with nutritional interventions. So this and many other study findings that have examined hundreds of children really give us hope and underline the importance of equipping our children with a wholesome diet. Now, can a wholesome diet completely reduce or eliminate symptoms of ADHD and depression? The research isn't showing that, but it definitely suggests that when we're thinking about how can we support our kids, that ensuring that they have a wholesome diet, that they're getting nutrition that they need can go a long way in their well-being and improving outcomes for them. Researchers are also exploring the connection between gut health and conditions like anxiety, depression, and even neurodevelopmental disorders. Now, this research is still in its infancy, but I'm really hoping to bring on experts to talk about this in the future because it's a field that holds a lot of promise. So how can we practically apply this knowledge to support children and teens' mental health? Well, it actually starts with education and awareness, which is what I'm trying to do here. And parents, educators, and healthcare professionals can have conversations about the impact of nutrition on mental well-being. Parents, educators, caregivers, you have the power to shape the journey of the young minds in your care. So here are just a few practical tips to consider. 1, embrace whole foods. Opt for unprocessed whole foods that are rich in vitamins, minerals, and fiber. These foods provide the building blocks for a healthy mind. So when you're packing lunches and snacks, keep that in mind. Number 2, variety is key. So it's important to encourage a diverse diet that encompasses a wide range of nutrients. Remember that each nutrient plays a unique role in supporting mental health. Number 3, mindful meals. We've talked about mindfulness on this podcast, and I want you to consider a culture of mindful eating. Oftentimes we are rushing our meals to go on to the next thing. And it's really important to sit down together for meals as a family, away from distractions, away from phones and televisions, and really savor the experience. The other thing we want to do is reduce processed foods. Minimize ultra-processed foods that are really devoid of nutrients and can contribute to inflammation and poor mental health. And One of the last things that we can do is really continue to educate and involve everyone. Teach children about the importance of nutrition and involve them in meal planning and preparation. What that does is it cultivates a positive relationship with food. So again, we want to embrace whole foods. We want to encourage a diverse diet, so variety is key. We want to foster a culture of mindful eating, so have those mindful meals. We want to reduce processed foods, and we want to educate and involve kids in meal planning and preparation. So as we wrap up this really quick episode, really quick but important, we've looked at the fascinating world of nutritional psychology and its impact on children and teens' mental health. We're learning that there is increasing evidence that what we eat affects how we feel. And there are clear health benefits of a whole foods diet. That being said, it's important to keep in mind that just as each child is unique, their nutritional needs can vary too. We know that genetics, medication, and stress levels can influence the nutrients their bodies require. So while guidelines are valuable and this research is important, it's worth considering personalized approaches. So it's important to consult with your child's doctor or a registered dietitian who can help tailor dietary recommendations to your child's needs and ensure optimal mental well-being. Let's remember that the path to nourishing our children's minds is paved with nutrient-rich foods and thoughtful choices. So a plate filled with colorful fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins can contribute to their mental resilience and well-being. Nutrition is a thread that should not be underestimated. And I hope this episode has shed light on the power of nutrition and the importance of its role in supporting students as they transition back to school. Thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, take care of your minds and bodies and continue nourishing those young souls with good nutrition.
Thanks for listening to Diverse Thinking, Different Learning by Child Nexus. For more resources, visit us online at childnexus.com.